So I've been keeping track of how many pages I read a day for the past few months, and usually I tend to average about 300 pages a day. This is a combination of like reading physically and audiobooks. So 300 seems like a pretty baseline number for me. So I decided I'm going to challenge myself for the next week. I am going to try and read a bit more than that. I'm going to try to read 400 pages a day, which yes, this is going to be difficult. It's going to take up a lot of time, and I do work a 9 to 5. So there's going to be a lot of priority shifting to make sure that I get these numbers in. I'm not going to be counting any audiobooks for this either. I'm just going to be reading entirely physically, and we're going to see how many pages I can read a day. Like, can I realistically get to this 400 number goal? Am I being ridiculous? And yeah, is this actually something that I can do? So hi, my name is Kat. I love to read sci-fi and fantasy books, and that is going to be probably the focus today. I have quite a few new releases that have come out. I have library books, I have Kindle Unlimited, like all of these things that I want to read. I have so many projects and things in my mind that I want to keep working towards, but I really need to make more time to read, which yeah, I do read a lot, but at the same time, if I want to read all that I want to, I need to really prioritize it. So welcome to today's video where we're going to be spending the next week just reading, ideally, hopefully 400 pages a day. I am very much struggling to decide what to pick up next. So I think I have like a few different books that are on the go on Kindle Unlimited, and I think I'll continue on those, but I also want like a physical book to kind of keep reading too. And I think actually this one makes sense. So Flames of Chaos by Amelia Hutchins. This is one that I just got in my, what is it called? Arcane Society box. So I don't remember what month this was, but we did get books 1 and 2 in the box. And they just announced that there's going to be a sale of, I think, books like 4 to 6 or 3 to 6 also. So there's a pre-sale of that coming later on this month. So I wanted to read the first 2 and see like if I enjoy them before I do that pre-order, just to see if it's like actually something that I want to buy. Yeah, so I think I'll start this one. It's about 480 pages. I'm not going to only focus on this. I'm going to probably be switching back and forth between a few books because that is what keeps my brain focused easiest. So I'm definitely going to be having like a few different books on the go and like probably reading like 50 pages here and there at them, which is a little chaotic, but that is how I read. So I think, yeah, this is a good choice to start off on my physical TBR. Hello, it's time for a very tired update. So first off, I'm actually making great progress. That's like the best part, but I am into Flame of Chaos. I've gotten 123 pages in, and this is actually fantastic. I am really enjoying this. So we're following a witch who, it's kind of complicated how the realms are worked, but there are 9 realms, and we're following, I think they're in like a central place that is kind of like the veil between the immortal and the mortal realms. So it's, I don't know if it's a town, it's a city or what, but we are following a group of witches. They're all sisters who come to this town where they grew up. They've been gone for years, but they come back because one of their sisters is missing. So they are descended from the goddess Hecate, and because of this, they are all like this special bloodline of witches. And one of them is supposed to be in this town at all times to kind of like rule on if immortals can go into the mortal realm. So one of their sisters had been there. There's 16 girls. One had been there, and now she's missing. So all of the other sisters are coming to town to try and investigate. And weird things have happened. So they've been gone for years, like 20-ish years, and things have really changed. There's like a new alpha who's declared himself king, and like he is this type of magic that they've never encountered before. And our main character, Arya, is inexplicably drawn to him. He is like, I don't know, there's some kind of like intense connection between the two of them. But she's a witch, and she doesn't know who her father is or what kind of creature he is. So she knows she's half witch and she's half something else, but she can never figure out what it is. And it's basically lent her this like intense magic power. She's resistant to a lot of things that the other witches are not. She has all of these different abilities that witches normally don't, and for some reason she's kind of been like hunted her entire life because of it. Like her mother's tried to kill her. She's like always kind of like, there's some weird stuff going on with her constantly. And as soon as they get into town, there are all of these weird immortal creatures that are kind of going after her and her sisters. So they are relying on, I think his name is Nox, the sexy immortal, to protect them. I'm really liking it. This is like really addicting so far. I'm really into it, which is fantastic, and just like I'm really really, really enjoying like just reading the story, seeing what's coming next, and I like have a great feeling. It's definitely one that like I can already tell and probably gonna want to get that other set, like because it is just, it's so fun so far. And yeah, loving it. It's also a pretty fast read, which is fantastic. So this one's going well. And I've also read 40 pages of The Bone season. So I started at page 79. I'm at page 190 now. And this is a kind of sci-fi world where there's all these people who have these like clairvoyant abilities, and it's illegal to have them. So we're following the main character who's been working for this crime syndicate, and she gets caught and brought to this like prison where there's these like, alien creatures who kind of are secretly ruling the planet and use these people with these abilities to fight this like eternal war. I read this before, I think when it first came out, so like 10 years ago, but there is a revamped version. So Samantha Shannon has revamped it, like went back, made edits, and rewrote large portions of it. So I want to read it again and kind of see what I think about it. Plus I don't remember very much of it. And I do believe that she's doing the rest of the series and that they're coming out this year. So by that I mean she's revamping the other books that are out. So I kind of want to catch up on it. Like I do remember really enjoying this book. It's very different from what I remembered, and I don't know if that's just because of these edits that I've made or just like I genuinely do not remember the book, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So yeah, I made 40 more pages into that. So in total I've read about 163 pages, and I do have quite a bit more reading to go. I think I'm going to switch over to I have one book, it's called The Darkness Outside Us. I think it's about 160 pages left of that one, so I might actually just try to finish that off, and then I'll see whatever else I'm like getting into that. All right, so got to page 198. So we have completed the amount of pages that I need to in this one. Really enjoying it. This is fun. It's great. Our main male character is unhinged and I like it. So this is fantastic. Then I also read 162 pages of The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreiber. So this is a short YA book about there's two boys who are in this spaceship traveling from Earth to a colony because there's a distress signal and one of their sisters is involved. There are two people who've been trained their entire life to be astronauts and are sent on this spaceship. And I don't really want to give too much away about this one because I do feel that this one is much better going into it not knowing anything. But just the first half of this book I thought was super boring. I thought nothing interesting was going to happen, and like halfway through I was like, should I even finish this? It's so standard, it's so boring, this is literally the most basic book ever. And then something happened and this reveal happened, and suddenly the book became like insanely good, insanely interesting, so like different from so many other sci-fi books I read. Like I genuinely thought that this was just your basic like two people traveling on a spaceship falling in love and they're just gonna go on a rescue mission, and I am so ridiculously happy that that is not what happened. This is amazing. I gave it a 4 stars. Do not want to like spoil anything from it, but it was so good. And I just saw that there's a sequel coming out to it, and I'm so excited to see where it goes because I think this is one that could definitely have some very interesting things explored. Oh, it was great. It was great. Like if you read this and you hate the first half, that's fine. Like don't worry, it's going to get better. So with that I have done the 400 pages today. So 40 The Bone season, 162 The Darkness Outside Us, and 198 Flames of Chaos. So exactly 400 pages and perfect, and just in time for me to get ready to go to bed. So tomorrow will be an interesting day. I am at work in the office, so I'm going to try to read before I go to work over my lunch break, and maybe on the commute because we do have a 40-minute drive each way, so maybe I can get some reading in there, but we will see. We will see how tomorrow goes. I am exhausted. So day 2. What did I do today? I have been tired. I have not been in the mood to read, and I haven't also not had the mental energy to like actually focus on stuff. So I did manage to read how much, like about 120-ish pages of The Bone season. Wow, can't even remember the name. I'm enjoying it, still making my way through it. I like it. I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow, go into more details, but I'm still liking it. Also, currently according to Goodreads, I've read book 2. Did not remember that. In my mind I've only read book 1, so like I have zero memory of book 2, so maybe it's not that good. But I did see that I rated book 4 stars the first time I read it, and so far it's seeming to be like very much in that range. And then after that I couldn't focus on anything, so I mostly read that during the day today, like on my lunch, on early in the morning while I was having my coffee, and a little bit after work. And after dinner, it's like now 8:30, after dinner I really could not focus on anything, so I decided to cheat a little and pick up a graphic novel. I originally was going to just do this as like like pure like pages on paper, pure like reading physically the pages, whatever. But yeah, we're doing graphic novels now too. That is part of this. So I read The Princess and the Grilled Cheese, and this was the cutest shit ever. Like so cute. And I've really been in like my graphic novel phase lately. I've been reading so many of them, and it's just like so fantastic. But this one, we are in Le Pays de Fromage, and we are following the Princess of Fromage. So she is Princess Brie, and we are following her romance as she is with the Count of Camembert. But this count, this is the main character that we're following. He is actually a girl who whose father passed away, and she was his only heir. But because of the country's inheritance laws, she could only inherit if she's married to someone. So she and her father, before he passes away, like devised this plan that she is going to like disappear for a little bit, then come back and pass herself off as his son. So she is pretending to be basically just a man in this world, pretending to be the count, pretending that her father only had a son. And while there, she forms a very close friendship with the princess, and they get very close and eventually fall in love. And then they find a way to make it work. They like realize that the Count of Camembert is a girl, and they find a way to like make it work. And also because they are in the cheese country, everything about it is like very cheese focused. There's all of this love of cheese, grilled cheese sandwiches. Everybody has cheese names. It was just great. It was like honestly the kind of cute, fun, like nonsensical thing that I really needed tonight. And I'm giving it 5 stars because I thought it was fantastic. And I have just been loving graphic novels so much lately, and just like absolutely dying about all of them, and like getting so obsessed with all the ones I'm reading. So yeah, 5 stars. Didn't take very much long to read. That's also a fantastic thing about graphic novels, is they don't take long. And this one was 256 pages. So with that and what I read for the bone season, I think I did the math, I'm at 360 pages so far today. So I still have 40 more to do. I am definitely not going to be checking in again tonight though, because I am planning on heading to this bed and reading for a little bit before I pass out. Because even though it is like 8:30, I go to bed at like 9. So I am quite tired. So I'm going to be reading for a little bit. I'll let you know tomorrow how many pages I did, but just assume I did 40 pages, because I'm basically not going to let myself sleep until I finish that. And yeah, I'm probably going to stick with the bone season just because I feel like I just want to make some progress in that and get it out of my life. Not that I'm not enjoying it. I just, I'm ready to move on for some reason. So I'm going to keep reading that. And then, yeah, I guess I will see you tomorrow. So it's Saturday now. I did 0 updates yesterday, but I did maybe read as much as I was supposed to. I did not actually do the math, so we're gonna figure that out. But basically, I feel like Fridays I am the most useless person alive, and I am incapable of, being a coherent, normal person. So I read a bit, and then immediately the exhaustion hit in, and I couldn't do anything else. And yeah, Fridays I am like, no matter how short the week is, like I only worked 4 days this week. It was not like a busy week by any means. I was just so exhausted that like I was not a functional person, but I did some reading. So let's do the math really now. I did finish reading 1 book, which is Desert Creatures. So this is for a video which should already be up by the time this is posted, but this was like a weird, not quite dystopian, but weird kind of futuristic world where basically like society is completely crumbled, and there's people who live in the desert and are very much just like, I'm not gonna say scroungers, but very much like just living in the dregs of society. It kind of gives like slight Mad Max vibes of just like the desert thing, people who kind of like don't have a functional society, and just everybody kind of like trying to fend for themselves. And we're just following this one woman who is trying to find a way to Las Vegas, which is now known as like a holy city, to see if she can find this saint who might heal some issues that she has. But yeah, read this, gave it 3 stars, and it's going to be up on a video that should be out already by the time this one's posted. So I'll talk more about it there. And that was 285 pages, 285. Okay. All right. So there's 285 done on that. Then I did read a little bit more of the bone season. So let's do some quick math on how much I read. Okay. So only did, how many? 53 pages of bone season. So still very slowly making my way through it. I'm enjoying it, but I do find that this is a book that's very slow to get into, and it's something that I'm not really feeling like particularly like wanting to pick it back up. I'm enjoying it while I read it, but I don't feel that like desire to keep going. I don't really feel like I'm invested that much in it. So I guess it's just gonna be one that I'm kind of like keep like chipping away at and keep trying to get through, but yeah, not one that I'm overly into, I guess. And then I randomly decided decided to pick up another book as, you know, why stay focused on things that I'm actually reading. And I started Claimed by the Hoarding by Zoe Draven. Is that who it is? Yes. So this is a like sci-fi alien romance series. I read the first book and actually gave it 5 stars, which is shocking. And this is book 2. So we're following this planet. There's humans have settled on it, but it's basically ruled by these giant hordes, and there's 6 of them. They are ruled by Horde King, and it's just very much like Game of Thrones Dothraki kind of vibe. I really liked the first one. I thought it was like so incredibly fantastic, and yeah, just one that I'm really into this series. So I just had mood reading, felt like picking that one up. So I really like it. I'm already definitely very much into this one, and I did 46 pages of that. So in total, I guess I did what, 384 pages yesterday. So not terrible. Very close to what I wanted to do. So yesterday was slightly a fail, but you know, we're close. So it is now Saturday night. It is almost 8 p.m. and I have not read anything today. So I'm going to be up late tonight, probably speed reading as much as I can. And this is one where I think that I'm going to be reading books that I can very quickly get through. So I'm going to keep reading Claimed by the Horde King because this is going to be an incredibly fast read. I can tell. I have some other fantasy romances and romances that I'm kind of feeling like just doing something like that. But also, should I go back to the Bone Season? Should I go back to Flames of Chaos? I also need to finish reading Dune by Tuesday, and I still have like 400 pages of that. So we're actually like honestly probably going to hop between a bunch of things because I have lots that I need to read, a lot of progress I need to make in a bunch of different things. And I usually go to bed at like 9, but I will not be tonight, and we'll just be trying to read as much as possible. So I have gotten about 50% into Claimed by the Hoarding, and it feels like the perfect time to actually kind of give you a little synopsis about it. So we are following basically romances between all of these Horde Kings. There's 6 books in this series. We're on book 2, and all of them, they are basically like every one of them, I'm basically picturing Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, and their entire society, their entire like culture, everything is pretty much the Dothraki. So there's these giant hordes that travel across this planet. It kind of gives, I think they're mostly there to protect the citizens of the planet against like different monsters, against different things, like different like, I don't know, just like species that might attack. And there's a bunch of human settlers on this land, but the government of the land has basically left them all like completely in the lurch. So they've all, you wanna come up here? Come on, buddy. Come on. Boy. So the humans on this land have all been given, like by the government, by whatever who's ruling the planet, they've all been given land that's pretty much like unfarmable, and it is really against like the law for them to be able to hunt anything. They're immediately punished by these hordes. Like if they get caught hunting, they're like supposed to be put to the death or punished like in some way. So we're following a human woman in this one who is a hunter for her community, and basically her community is failing. Everybody lives in like crazy poverty because their land's unfarmable and they don't get rations from the government anymore. So she is out hunting and she gets caught by members of this horde hunting. So when they follow her back to her community, they are going to have her lashed kind of to like get the message across. But as she's getting lashed, she makes eye contact with the horde, and he recognizes something in her soul. I don't know, but they recognize something in each other's souls, and he is like, oh no, I gotta have this girl. So he decides to take her captive and to bring her back to his horde. So right now we're following them as she is not quite a prisoner, but has been taken in and claimed by this horde. And you can tell this horde gang is super into her. He's really like 100% in. He just like politically, he's like, I can't claim her as my wife, but I want her. And then our human, she is, I'd say hesitant. She's kind of into him, but also scared. And she's really just adjusting to her new life as a member of this horde. I like it a lot. Really enjoying it. It very similar story structure to book 1. That's the big issue, is like, it's pretty much like book 1, just kind of a few plot points rearranged. And I'm not as into this couple as I was in book 1, which I think it might just be because I'm reading a story that's so similar or something, but I'm still enjoying it. It's just like not, book 1 was such a strong 5 stars, and this one, it's not quite giving that yet, but we still have a chance to change. So I am how far into it. I'm 51% in, and that's 176 pages. So I've read what, like 130 so far tonight. And I do think there's a chance I could finish this tonight. I'm like actually making very good progress. It's very readable, very quick read, so it shouldn't take me too long to finish it, but I'm gonna keep reading this, and I have a bunch. I don't know what else I'll read. We'll see whatever mood strikes me. Okay, I once again made the mistake. I'm up too late. I'm too tired to really talk about everything I read. But I think I reached my pages. I finished Claimed by the Board King, started 2 other books, and I'm going to tell you all about it in the morning because I don't want to do it right now. Mostly I'm too tired and I don't know if I can really make a coherent sentence. So I'll catch you in the morning and we will talk about this then. Yeah, I will tell you about what I read tonight, tomorrow. Okay, hello. So it's Sunday afternoon and we are way overdue an update on what I did yesterday and also have not started today. So yesterday I did finish reading Claimed by the Board King, which this one, like, I definitely didn't enjoy as much as book 1 in this series. Just something about this relationship, it wasn't as, I don't know, like as gripping to me. It didn't like have me invested as much. Just something about this like relationship wasn't 100% there for me. And also I did feel like this story had so many similarities to book 1. Like there was different plot points and like the characters were slightly different. They had like slightly different dynamic, but overall the story pretty similar. It's somebody being taken in by the Horde and then the Horde King wants her as his mate and they get together. So that's going to be kind of my fear going forward in the series, is that I feel like a lot of these books are going to be pretty similar that way. And I am scared to like that there might not be a lot of like differences between them. So that is going to be like my one big fear that I'm going into this looking for, or that I'm going to be looking at in the other books, is like I'm really hoping it's not going to be something that's just like constantly always the same story, just slightly repackaged. But I have a feeling it will be. So did enjoy this one. I give it a 4 stars. Still enjoyed it. Just wasn't quite like the 5-star that the other books were. And then instead of continuing on in anything that I was reading, I started 2 other books. And I'm going to very much say I was tired and I did not want to mentally commit to anything. So I read 40 pages of Vows and Ruins by Helen Schreiber. I think that's her last name. This is the 2nd book in a series. It's the sequel to Blood and Steel, which is a fantasy romance. It's this world where women used to be warriors alongside with the men, but there had been 20 years previous this like prophecy that came out basically saying that if a woman wields steel, there'll be like incredible darkness coming to the world. Something like that. It just some weird prophecy. So since then, women in this world have been outlawed from being like warriors. And we're following a young woman. Her entire goal in life is to be a warrior, and she basically does everything in her power to get herself like in this warrior position and to get the king of the realm to overrule or overturn this rule. I enjoyed the first book, but it wasn't anything that spectacular. But I have been hearing a lot of people say book 2 is much better and that the series as a whole gets really, really good. So I have wanted to pick that up and yeah, like start getting into it, see if it does get better, because I'm curious. I am curious. There was a few things hinted at in book 1 that I was like, it could be interested in if it kept going that way, you know. So I decided to start that. Read 40 pages of that, and then I read 58 pages of Witches Get Stitches by Juliet Ross. This is the 3rd book in a fantasy romance series too. They're all interconnected like romances, so all of them following a different sister in this world. I think there's 6 witches. They're all sisters, and each book is following one of their romances. So this one seems like it's going to be one of the sisters and a werewolf that she's friends with, who works at a bar that she is in. It's the starting of it is that they had met like a year prior. They'd had a hookup and then she ghosted him, and then he comes in and gets hired at her that she works at too. So it seems like we're going to be following them, maybe like a little second chance romance. The series overall, I find them very fun. They're pretty fun, so I'm happy to keep going on that. Yeah, I just need to actually commit to that one. So that was my reading for yesterday, and we are now like 3 p.m. I once again have not read anything yet today, but I did work out, so there's that. And I think my goal for today, I'm going to try to finish as much as I can of Dune. I have, I think, about 400 pages left, which I don't anticipate I'll finish all of it today, but I do have to finish this week. So I want to like try and make a very, very big chunk in this done. And between that, like I'm going to either like just continue one of my fantasy romances. So I'm thinking I'll switch between Dune and one of the other fantasy romances just to kind of break things up, especially because as much as I love this, it is dense. And yeah, I really want to continue this. I've been honestly like thinking about it nonstop. I just haven't picked it up. And then any of the other many fantasy romances or the Bone Season, whatever, I could read any of those. Oh, and also it's not going to count for this video, but I have been listening to the 3rd book in the Expanse series all yesterday and today. Like I was cleaning and then I worked out and just like listening to it nonstop, and I'm addicted. Like this whole series, I feel like I go into every book in it, and like the first like quarter of the book, I'm like, this is boring. This is like, I don't know why the series is so hyped up. And then every single book I get past that and I am like, well, this is the best thing I have ever read. And this book is absolutely the same. Like I am so intensely addicted to it right now, and I have just been listening to that nonstop. So the book 3, I think it's called Abaddon's Gate, and oh, it's so good. And yeah, like all I've wanted to do is just keep reading that, like keep listening to it and just whatever. Like I think I have 3 hours left on my audiobook, and yeah, I just want to keep listening to that too. So I'm going to get into Dune and hopefully make a big chunk of progress. guess what? Yesterday failed terribly. It's Monday, by the way. And yesterday, did I read anywhere close to these 400 pages? No. I think I read like 120, which not great. I did listen to an audiobook for quite a bit. I finished listening to Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey. And that was kind of my little issue, is that I was trying to read Dune, and all I wanted to do was just keep listening to my audiobook and play my silly little games on my phone. And that kind of just won out last night. It really just kind of took over my mind, and I had no desire to do anything else. As much as I tried to focus on Dune, it just would not happen. It was also Sunday Scaries kind of night, you know, like all I wanted to do was doom scroll, play stupid games, and just like not do anything even remotely brain consuming. But yeah, didn't do great there. And yeah, I gave what book? Abaddon's Gate, gave it 5 stars. Really, really, really love this series. I feel like everyone I go into, like, I'm just so blown away by how exciting it gets, and like everyone, it just like goes to such a crazy new level. And yeah, I love it, love it, love it. And waiting on library copy for book 4 right now, and I cannot wait. So yeah, only read about 120 pages of Dune yesterday. Today I am continuing on it. I'm gonna finish it tonight. I need to. And I have actually finished one book today. I feel like I'm saying this chaotically. It's like 6:30 right now. So I did finish one, which was a anthology collection called In These Hallowed Halls. And this was just a collection of like dark academia type of stories. Given it a 3 stars. It wasn't really anything that spectacular. There was maybe one story that I really liked, and this was by Olivia Blake, who's one of my favorite authors. But I feel like anthology collections, I really love a short story collection by one author, and especially if it's like a sci-fi short story collection, those amazing, I always love. If it's anthology and it's like a bunch of different authors about one kind of theme, I usually don't have that much luck with it, because there's always going to be like a few authors who I don't love their writing style. And it's just, if you know if it's only one author, you're going into something a little bit more like, you know what to expect, I guess. So that was 3 stars. And I think that was about 170 pages that I had left in it, because I had started this a few days ago. And I've read over 100 pages of Dune so far. So I do not have that much. No, I don't have that much left of Dune to finish. So I definitely will be tonight. And I'm probably going to keep reading more tonight. I kind of feel guilty that I didn't finish as much as I was supposed to yesterday. So I want to like really double down and try and read as much as possible. But I am going to go work out now, and then I'm going to have to like shower and stuff. But everything else for the night is done. So I'm ready to just like read. I don't really have anything else. I don't need to edit. I don't need to film anything else really. So it's just going to be that. And yeah, so work out quickly and then just keep reading, I guess. We'll see how many pages we can get to, because I'm at like 300 now. And when I finish the book, I think it's another 150 pages that I have left to read on that. And then we'll see if I want to get into something else and like going. So we could be good. This lighting's terrible. I don't actually know where my light is at the moment. So just super quickly gonna say, finished Dune. That was, I don't know, like 300 pages, 400 something. Give it a 5 star. And then I read like 60 pages of the Bone Season. So yeah, just super quickly, 5 stars. Very, very happy with this. And yeah, this light is terrible, so I'm not gonna film for too much longer. And also just heading to bed now. So yeah, that I did, I think 500 pages today. So still like not fully caught up from everything that I missed yesterday, but did good. And tomorrow's the last day, so we'll try to finish the Bone Season. Maybe. We'll see how I'm feeling, but maybe we can get one more book done. Nice. So see you tomorrow. So I really can't remember what I was saying last night, but I finished Dune. I gave it 5 stars, and it really was fantastic. I'm honestly like so annoyed with myself, because I put off reading this for the longest time, because like just everything I was seeing was saying that this is like the most dense and like convoluted and like complicated sci-fi story ever. And like I definitely agree that the writing was dry, but like I read a lot of epic sci-fi, and this really wasn't anything like that complicated. Sure, there was a lot of like political stuff going on. There's a lot of different types of people to get to know. There's a lot of different like factions going on, and there's all of this information to absorb. But overall, it wasn't like really a dense book. I don't think by any means like it was something that I would say is intensely complicated. So yeah, I'm just really annoyed with myself that I would like put off reading this for so long, because I kept hearing people say it was like the hardest sci-fi book ever, and like I don't really feel like it was by any means. But I am giving it 5 stars, and I am so happy that I liked it this much. I feel just like so ridiculously like just happy that like this classic sci-fi book is something that I loved and something that I could get this into. And yeah, now I want to read all of the rest of the books. So I do have the second Dune book and I'm so excited to get to it. So that will be coming at some point soon. And yeah, so I don't know, I read like another 100-ish pages of the Bone season last night. And so that got me to like 500 pages yesterday. So today, I am actually almost done the Bosun season. I was reading it over my lunch day and this morning, and I think I have like 20 pages left. Like I'm on the last chapter. So that I will be done very soon. And I'm kind of feeling like picking up something new. I feel like I want to kind of stay in this sci-fi kick. I don't know. I'm being like really, really terrible about picking up books and then not finishing them. And this is just kind of how I get, is like I kind of do, in my mind, I call it like a chaotic mood reading, where just I randomly pick up things and like just kind of go with the flow based on like whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And I always seem to have like 20-ish books on the go at any time, which is one way that I feel like I read so many books, is just I have so many on the go at any time. So it's so quick to like finish something. But I am going to finish the Bone season, and then I don't know, like I don't know if I want to pick up something new. I don't know if I want to like continue on one of my romantasy books, but like I just have so many books that are capturing my interest right now, and like so many things I want to read for different projects and different videos, and like there's just so many books that I want to read. And I'm kind of having that problem where there's so many things I want to read that it is making it hard for me to pick something to read. So I'm gonna go quickly finish the Bone season, and then I'll let you know what I decide to go with next. Back in the day when I initially read the Bone season, I gave it 4 stars, but this time around I feel like I have to give it only a 3. Okay, buddy? Yeah, I have to give it only a 3 this time, because like it had some interesting concepts. It had some things that I felt like were really setting up like things that could be interesting in this world. It had a few things going that like I thought were interesting, but it didn't really have anything that like went to that next level for me. There wasn't anything that was like overly interesting. I didn't particularly like care about the characters. There's this romance. There's a possible romance that's introduced in this one, and like I felt nothing for it. Though I do remember the first time I read it, I was so into that, and like I really was rooting for it. I was really into this whole like, it's kind of like a prisoner and captor kind of thing. And I remember being so into it the first time I read it, but it honestly did nothing this time. The like male main character or male love interest, like really did nothing for me. He was just like so one-dimensional, so one note. He didn't have like really, well, he had like the hints of a personality, but nothing like actually there. So it just very much was not there for me. And I feel like, yeah, this is an example of how my reading tastes have changed, which I kind of want to do a video at some point where I'm going back and like rereading some of my favorites from 10 years ago and like seeing what I actually think of them now, because wildly different. I also very distinctly remember the first time I read this. I was supposed to be studying for exams. I remember what apartment I lived in. I remember what semester it was, and I remember just like how terribly that went. I was like hardcore procrastinating, and this was one of my books that I chose to do it. So maybe those memories aren't the best. But yeah, so I gave that 3 stars. That was 92 pages. That's done. And then I decided to pick up next Yours for the Taking. This is one that I got through the Aardvark book box a few months ago. I'm not sure if this, I think it's a 2024 release, which I'm trying to read a bunch of like 2024 new SFF releases right now and just kind of talk about those in an upcoming video. Okay, no, this actually came out 2023, but oh well, I still want to read it. So yeah, I got this in the Aardvark book club, which I've becoming a huge fan of it, because they have such like unique book choices, like especially for sci-fi and fantasy. There's really like a lot of book choices that like books I've never heard of otherwise, books that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and those are things that I am really into. So in this one, we are following a world. It's 2850, and the world is like in the midst of a gigantic climate crisis. So the world's like very rapidly deteriorating. There's very like big like a very clear divide between people who are like on the in and who are on the out, and a lot of people are like really suffering in life. So we're following partially this billionaire who who becomes kind of like one of the head investors and spearheading this new and like project that are called like inside zones. So these gigantic city-like structures are basically being created, and they're all like enclosed. They're 100% like you cannot get in or out, and they are these special zones where hand-selected people are going to be sent in and kind of live in like a utopia basically while the rest of the world goes to shit. And we're following Jacqueline, the billionaire. She becomes the head investor in the North American version of it, and she has decided that men are the problem of the world, and if there weren't men, basically the world would have been perfect. So she kind of takes control of the inside project for North America and decides to make it a women's only place. So she decides that it is going to be 100% women only, and she thinks that that will basically create the perfect society, and it's going to be like the perfect space for women to flourish, women to thrive, and have the like ideal lives. So throughout the book, we're following Jacqueline, we're following her assistant, who is a young trans girl, we're following a queer doctor who is involved in this inside project and is kind of like in charge of the medical aspect as well as like the care for how the people who live inside are going to just live, I guess, how they're going to flourish. And we're following another queer woman who is part of the inside project. She's selected to be one of the like inhabitants, and we're following her life within this structure and her life as she becomes a mother and lives within the project and tries to find a life for herself. So I'm finding this really, really interesting. It is bringing up an incredible amount of discussion about feminism, gender, sexuality, just the roles of different types of people within the world. A lot like very much too about like girl boss feminism and white woman feminism, and just why intersectionality is important and how so many people just kind of like take such a narrow view of feminism where they don't think about trans women, anybody who's non-binary, like they don't think about anything other than just what they see in the mirror. And it's just really, really interesting in that sense. Like just a lot of truly wonderful conversations and just like great things to kind of think about, where it's like part of this when they were trying to decide if all women, like if only women are going to be accepted into this community. There was a big discussion about should trans women can be considered, like they are women, are they going to like look at the gender or just biology? And just a lot of this very much so showing that so many people's views are just really, not fully encompassing the reality. There is this very strong view of like it says in here too, like an indictment of white corporate feminism, which is 100% what this billionaire, what we're seeing from her. And it is, honestly, it's great. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like, I think that this could absolutely be potentially a 5 stars. Just the conversations that's happening and the things to think about and like all of these different things that are going on, the different themes. Very, very good. Very fascinating. And this is the type of sci-fi dystopian type of book that I like, where it's a little weird, but it's making us really look at just society as a whole, the different roles of people within society, the different roles of the genders. And yeah, it's just, I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm 177 pages in, bringing my total for today up to like, what, 270 or something. So I still have a bit of a ways to go for tonight. And I do think potentially I could finish this about 300 pages or so. But anyway, it's fantastic. Really, really enjoying it. So I did not film like any updates yesterday, but I didn't really read any more after like when I last checked in. I think I read about 20 more pages of Yours for the Taking, but like really was not anything significant at all. And I do believe that means I also failed with hitting the 400 pages yesterday. So this was an interesting experiment. It very much proved to me that like on the regular basis, no, I do not read the over like 350 that my stats tell me. I think that is definitely because I tend to listen to a lot of audiobooks while I work, and I wasn't counting those this week, which I think that like majorly impacted like how much I was reading, how much I was recording on this, and made it really feel like I was reading a lot less than I usually do. That being said though, I did finish a few books. It was just not quite as much as I feel like I usually do. I also feel like because I was filming this, I was trying to stay a little bit more on task, where normally I am the most chaotic mood reader ever, where I tend to flip between like 20 pages of a book all the time. So I'm really, really bad at reading, like having 7 books on the go, reading a chapter of each, and then constantly going like between that. And I was really trying to not do that this week because it would have came off a little bit too chaotic in a video, I think. So I think for that reason, it kind of like, I ended up reading a little bit less than I usually do, which I know this was still, it was a lot read. It was a lot read, and I did finish quite a few books. It's just, I tend to read a bit more than that. And usually there's like a few other books, like random progress on other books. Like I always have so many books on the go and I'm always making like random little progress on them. It's just, I really not doing my like picking up a book for a chapter and stuff because I didn't really want to discuss that, I guess. But yeah, that was a week of trying to read 400 pages a day. Definitely a lot more difficult than I expected. And a lot more tiring, really, just trying to stay on task and trying to update every day about it. So there's a video. This is it for today. I don't really have much else to say. I don't know. We read some books. We didn't finish some others. I'm still going to be reading. That light's terrible. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in some new videos soon, I guess. Bye.